to the cloud. Young Professional magazine was developed for a target audience of recent college graduates who are in the first 10 years of business professional career. In its first 2 years of publication, the magazine has been fairly successful. Now the publisher is interested in expanding the magazine's advertisement base. Potential advertisers continually ask about the demographics and interests of subscribers to Young Professional. To collect this information, the magazine's commissioned a survey to develop a profile of its subscribers. The survey results will be used to help the magazine choose articles of interest and provide advertisers with a profile of subscribers. Okay. As a new employer of the magazine, you have been asked to help analyze the survey results. Okay, so they give you some of the questions. And what is your age? Are you male, female, etc.? Okay. Then prepare a managerial report summarizing the results of the survey in addition to statistical summaries. Discuss how the magazine might use these results to attract advertisers. You might also comment on how the survey results could be used by the magazine's editors to identify what topics would be of interest. Consider the complete data set. Okay. So, all right. So the first thing says compute the mean, the standard deviation, and the standard error for age, amount of investments, number of transactions, and okay, so basically, you know, this is all spreadsheet calculations.
Oh, okay.
So did you send me the data set?
No, I didn't, Shauna. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, that's fine. But it's all, this is all basic data set
Okay.
stuff that you're doing. So if you want to do that, let me
do that.
go and
Share.
pull this down and go to my email, which I haven't been to my email. Okay. We need you for this one. Okay. See if you're up yet. Not yet. Hasn't come through yet, but I'll wait for that.
Let me try and send it to you.
Yeah, you can either send it or you can but it's like I said, it's probably easier to work with the actual data set.
Okay. You want me to open it up?
Well, I mean, no, it's probably easier if I work with the actual data set because I don't remember the commands by heart.
Okay, Shauna.
You know what I mean? If you can't, then you can open it from there, but it's going to be harder for me if I have to try and guide you through the commands to do it.
Right.
Because this is designed to be done in Excel. So because I don't know how big let me check and see if it's come in yet.
Sorry, Shauna, I'm working on it. I'm trying to figure out how to send it to you.
Oh, it doesn't, you can't download it and attach it?
I'm trying to do that right now. I think I had already downloaded it.
Or send me, oh, okay. Or send me a link to it.
Yeah, I'm looking for where it's at. I know I had already. Professional. Here it is, Shauna.
Okay. Well, you're
How's school, Shauna?
well, we remember we were on spring break this week.
Oh, you were on
So
spring
I
break?
really don't know. I don't know yet. I'm trying to get a couple of appointments done, like I said, so I got one done. I went to see the optometrist and we're going to get me some new glasses, but it's gonna take some time because of the pandemic. So kill two birds with one stone here and do my vitals while you're
Okie dokie.
looking for that. Did you find it or not yet?
I sent it over. It should come through.
Oh, you sent it. Okay, let me take a look. Because the last time I clicked, it hadn't come yet. So let me see. Okay. Oh, there it is. All right. So let me see what we're doing here. We're doing mean, standard deviation, and standard error. Mean, standard deviation, standard error for age, amount of investments, age, amount of investments, number of transactions, and household income. Household income. Okay. So what we're going to do is open this up. Download the spreadsheet so I can see it. Okay, then we're going to open the file in Excel. Okay, we're going to enable editing actually. Okay, now let's see. So when you want to do okay, so we have age, we have gender, we have real estate, we have value, we have number of transactions, broadband, household income, and whether or not we have children. So if you look at the age column here, you're gonna take your, there's a command up here in the, it's probably gonna be under, let me see, is it under data or is it under, let me check where it's at. No, it's under formula. Yeah, so most likely it's gonna be under formulas, and then we're gonna go to more functions in statistical, and it's gonna give us all the formulas that we need. We can also do, I know we can do the summary statistics, but I don't remember where the summary statistics are. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna highlight this, we're gonna select this column, and I'm going to copy it over here just to make things easier for us. I'm gonna paste it here. And I'm just gonna remove that and then, so this is gonna start with J2, and then I need the mean, the standard deviation, and the standard error. So you can go here and you can calculate. You select the whole column, then J. Okay, so you select J, and then you can say you can either, now here you can take your formula, and there's a few ways to do this, but I would probably use, rather than dividing by how many there are, I would just use the statistical function and then just do determine the average arithmetic mean of the arguments, which can be numbers. Yeah, okay. So the mean, J2 to J87, okay. And then
You're in formulas, Shauna? Formulas, and then
I went to, okay, so there's a few ways to do this, but what I did was I went to formulas and then more functions, and then statistical. And go to average, where it says average here.
yes,
And then
number one.
then this is, yeah. And then you have returns the average of this, and then you can say, you click OK. And the average is, so your mean age, this is going to be your mean age. That's your mean age is 30.1218. I don't know how many decimal places
4 is
they
good.
want. Then we're going to do the standard deviation. So we're going to J2 to J, what is that? J2 to J387. So you're going to go to, let's see, we're going to go to formulas. We're going to go to, okay, but I need to select something first. So I'm going to select J, and I'm going to just not use the, so I'm going to go to, I can come down here if I want. Come down, oh, did I not do the whole, maybe I didn't do the whole group. I don't know what happened there.
Oh.
J2, maybe not, maybe I didn't get the whole group. Hold on, let me fix this. But you have to make sure that you get the whole, okay, so maybe that's why it did that. All right, so here, then I'm gonna say, actually, I'll do it up here. I'll say equal, well, hold on. This spreadsheet is huge. That there should be, I'm gonna look up the way to get the summary statistics, but that's what I would do rather than adding the whole thing up. So this is gonna equal I'll put it up here, equals, and you're gonna use equals, and then I'm gonna say more functions. So this is statistical, average, and then I don't want to put J1 in here though. I want to get rid of this part. This is equals average of J2. This is going to be the average of J2 to J2 to J, whatever number that was. I don't know how many, 400 and,
I think it was like 411.
is that the end of it? 411?
Check. Let me check.
Yeah, I think so. As long as I know how many there are. So J2 to J, you can also do it up here, J2, and then this is going to be J2 to J 411, and then you're gonna just close it, and then it's gonna be your average. I know there's a way to get the J2 equals O, because I had L2 in there by mistake. All right, that should work now. It's 30.112. Okay, so this is your average for this
30.112.
30.112. Then for your standard deviation, which is the next thing, you're gonna do formulas and go more statistical.
For the standard deviation, I can just square it as well, right, Shauna?
Not the mean. You don't square the mean. You square the variance.
Oh.
But I think there's a standard deviation function. Yeah, there is. There's a standard deviation function. I just need to know which one it is based on the entire population. This is the standard deviation of a sample. Yeah. Make sure you're using the sample standard deviation. So you're going to do from J2 to J411. So this is going to equal J2 to, so this is going to be, this is going to be the same thing, but make sure you're using standard equals, okay. So this is equals a standard deviation of the sample, which is, oops. So this is equals formula, because there's different ones. There's different standard deviations, statistical, and then you go to the standard deviation. So this is going to be, make sure you're using stdev.s. So that's this, and then you're going to say, and then you have J2, in my case, yeah, J2 and J411, And then you have, that's your standard deviation
Thank you, Shauna.
for your sample. And then your standard error. Now your standard error is gonna be, so it's gonna actually be your standard error is gonna be, this is gonna equal your standard deviation, which is the answer that you just got,
Mhm.
divided by the square root of 411. So this is gonna be, because it's the square root,
It's 0.3488.
so this should just be, I'm not sure if it'll do a standard error directly, probably. I'm gonna look up the sample statistics while you're doing the other ones, but 7.07106
Mhm.
7812 divided by the square root of 411. That's gonna be
0.3488.
348. Yeah. The only thing that I can think of, I wonder if it's 3488. The only thing is I want to check something because maybe there's only 410 values. Because that goes from, yeah, because it goes from 2 to 411. So there'd be, instead of 1 to 411, there's 400 and, yeah, because the first one is the label, remember? So it's actually, I don't know that it will make a big difference, but let's see.
That's
Second
okay, Shauna.
entry. So this is gonna be, it's gonna be 3492 is what I'm getting.
Mhm.
So this is, now I know there's a way to, so this is 0.3492. Now you're gonna repeat that for the other columns that you needed. So I did it for the age column. Now you're gonna do it for the amount, the transactions, and the
Okay.
now I think there's a way, hold on, let me see if there's, while you're looking, while you're doing that, I'm gonna look it up and see if there's a summary statistics in Excel or a range. Let me see. Go to data analysis. Okay. Data analysis. Okay, maybe I can do it like this. If I do, give me a second. So if I do, maybe I can speed this up if I go with, actually, let me hit the label and then you go data. And then where's data analysis? Not what if analysis. Data. Do I have data analysis somewhere? Data validation. data tools. Advanced, no. It should be under data. Let's see. Data. Okay, hold on. Data. I wonder if it's different in
For the average, Shauna, you went from J1 to, I'm sorry.
J2 to J411.
Okay, so for this one, I'll go K2 to K411.
Yeah, it'll be the same. It'll be the same. Looking for, there should be a data analysis function. Where is it at? Because it's under data analysis. Let's see. Go to data analysis. Top right corner of the data tab. Okay, so that means we're doing data. Get data. Queries and connections. Edit links, recent sources from the web. No, not that. Sort, filter text, remove duplicates, data validation.
For the average, Shauna, why is it giving me a negative for the average?
For which column are you doing?
K, I'm putting in K.
I don't see your.
Oh, okay.
Which are you doing? Investments, or are you doing
investments?
so?
Average K2 to average K411, and I get a negative 18,000.
Well, I have data in K, so maybe that's part of it. But if I just select, the only reason I pasted it over is it's easier to see it. But if I take and I do this and I copy, I select this and then I go to, so this is D. So then I go formulas and I go to more.
Right.
So this is going to be statistical. And I go to average, which is the second one. And I go to from D2. And then a comma and then D411.
Comma.
Then I click OK. It should give me, I'm getting 21,350 for that.
21,350. I put a through instead of a comma, Shauna. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, no, because then what it did is it subtracted them.
Okay.
So it interpreted it to be subtraction when you did that. So here, then again, we do equals, and then you're going to do formulas. So you have more functions, statistical, and then you're going to go to make sure it's the standard deviation of sample. So this is going to be standard div.s. And then you're going to go from D2, comma D411.
Okay.
And then you have one, let's see, what is that? $12,940.05.
Thank you, Shauna. And I take that
And your standard error, you're gonna take
900
12,940
and 40.
0.0541 and divide it by 0.541 and hold on, I'm missing a digit here, and divide it by the square root of 410. 940.05. Okay,
410 or 411, Shauna?
410 because you started in J2, so there's 410 values, right?
Okay.
That's what I think. Because and apparently, I don't know if it's because of the way the spreadsheet is created,
Mhm.
but apparently we don't have data analysis on our spreadsheet. Go to data and right arrow to data analysis. So I don't know. On the data tab in the analysis group, click data analysis. So you do have the capacity to do it, but I don't see it on your spreadsheet anywhere. Go to data in the data analysis group. Unless there's more tabs. I don't show, yeah, I don't show data analysis anywhere on your show me where is data analysis, data analysis. Oh, it's add-ins. Okay. It's under, it's on use the analysis tool pack. Okay. To perform calculations, load and activate it. On the file tab, click options. Okay, so file options. Where am I at? File options. And I want add-in. And I want the analysis tool pack, that one. And I want to click OK. So then I want to go to data
Mhm.
and go, okay, didn't give it to me. File option. I'm trying to get the analysis tool pack right now, which is what we need to do the add-ins. Analysis tool pack. Okay. That one. Click go. And I want to click on the analysis. If you don't have it, you might wanna, because this will help us do this faster. Let's see. Okay, and then you click go and then tools, add-ins. Okay, so file. And let me see. This is gonna be. So if I have this, then I'm gonna have share screen and I'm gonna have. Where's my data analysis? Hold on, let me stop. Let me go to here. Let me go to professional. Okay. And then I'm gonna go to data. Okay, now I have, so what I did, let me, if you don't have this on your Excel, it's an add-in that's on there. So what I did was I got myself the data analysis tool pack. So now if you go, we have to do transactions. So for example, here, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna select column E and I'm gonna hit data. Now, if you have, it depends on if it's already enabled for you. All the way over here on the far right is analysis. Do you have an analysis under data analysis?
You said to go to data.
So click on data, then the ribbon opens, go to the far right.
No, it's not there.
Okay, if it's not there, then go to file. Go to file. Go to go to options. Go to options.
Yes.
And then when you go to options, you should see some options open and you want to look for the one that says, hold on, you go to options, you look on the left sidebar in gray for where it says add-ins.
Okay.
Click on add-ins. And in the top menu bar, look for something that says analysis tool pack.
Okay, the first top one?
Yeah, well, for me, it's the first top one. And now if it's not active, then you can go, then you click on it, so it turns blue. And then click go, where it says manage Excel add-ins. Click go.
Okay.
Then you have to, once you click go, then it should be ready to add in. So then you go back, if you go back and go to data. Click the data tab. And see if you see data analysis at the far right.
No, I don't see it now. Let me try again. Options, add-ins, analysis tool pack. Okay.
Then click go. Did you click go? You don't click okay, you click go at the bottom.
Okay, add in. Now it says tool pack. Go. And now I get a small box where it says add in. Add in
Yeah,
to
so
the
now click on the analysis tool pack checkbox.
Uh-huh.
And then at the, I think there's another thing at the bottom.
It's on the side. It says okay, cancel, browse, automation.
Yeah, click OK.
Okay, convert. It still won't come out.
That's weird. Hold on, let me, because that's where your analysis is. And that's where, remember I told you they have a way to do the summary statistics?
Mm-hmm.
Let me show you this so you can see it. So if you go to the data analysis box, you have all these additional tests that you can run. And so you have descriptive statistics in here. So it'll give you all the descriptive statistics for the column that you wanted. So like, for example, I want the descriptive statistics for column E, so I'm gonna click OK. And then it's gonna tell me, hopefully, if I can get, yeah, it's gonna tell me what, let me share the screen again. Share screen here. And it's gonna tell me what this is now. The input is grouped by columns. And I want to tell it the range. So labels in first row, yes. And I want the output range. I'm going to specify an output range as new. I could do it as new worksheet ply, or I could do it as the output range here. But this is my output range. And then I have to do every time it gives me a new, I'll put the range over here for my output. And then it's gonna give me the and I want the summary statistics. I want the summary statistics. So I'm gonna click OK. Input range missing, please. Okay. So this is gonna be input range is gonna be this column here, all the way down. And whoops, we're too far. Okay. 411. And then I'm gonna go ahead and hit, this is, I'm gonna change this by 1. So I want, whoops, I want this to be 411, and I'm gonna click OK. There they are. That's for your, for E. So number of transactions. Let me, whoops, I thought I was sharing the screen. Let me put it on the screen.
Okay.
There's my, there they are.
Oh, nice.
It'll do the thing for you. That's what I was saying. Like I know there's a way to do it, but the tool pack wasn't installed, so I wasn't seeing it. But there they are.
Thank you, Sean.
There's a lot of stuff you don't need on here, but there's the mean, the standard error. And what else do we need? Oh, the standard deviation. The standard deviation is down below 3.10. And then the household income. So you can repeat it for this. So if you go to data, now that your tool pack is installed, go to analysis, data analysis here. Go to your descriptive statistics. Click OK. And this time you want to go to, this is going to be, this is going to be from G, because you want the, so this is going to be, I'm just going to change this from E to G. So this is just, no, this is column, yeah. So this is, I'm going to change this to G here and change this to G here. Shift G. And then I'm going to do the summary statistics. I'm going to pick a different output range. L1 to okay. So now I'm going to pick a different output range. I'm going to pick this one. So I'm going to pick this range here, for example. And then I'm going to say, okay, this is going to be my summary statistics for that. And I'm going to go. And so my household income, there it is. The mean is 74459.51. Let me widen the column so that it comes out easier for you.
Thank you, Sean.
And then the error, standard error, is 1719.549.
Thank you, Shauna.
No, that's fine. And then I think it asks you something about how many have children and how many.
It says compute the proportion of males in the survey.
Oh, okay, male versus, where's my gender? Okay, I have to go back to my column, right?
Mhm.
So, okay, so here you wanna look, you wanna count to see how many there are in this column. So remember, there's a couple of different ways we could do. We know that there's 410.
Mhm.
So there's a few ways we could do this, but I'd probably just take this column here and see if I could do like, because there's nothing else on here, so I could do like I could do a find, and I could do like Male, you said?
It says compute the proportion of males in the survey. Yes, Sean.
Male, okay. So find all. Oh, I have to search I have to select the spreadsheet before I do that. That would be helpful. Okay, now let's see if I can find all there. There are okay, so it's gonna tell me how many.
500, say 5,000.
No, there's only 410, but this is all the, I need to, hold on. I need to figure out, give me a second, because I don't remember if I, actually, you know what? I know why. The reason it found 410 of them is because I'm gonna have it find the females because male was part of the word female. So of course it selected them all. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find all the males. So there's 181 females
Mhm.
and so there's 181 females.
230 males.
And that means there's 410 minus 181 males, which is
229.
I don't know, 410 minus 181 is gonna be, whoops, 410 minus 181, is that what I said?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so now you want to know the proportion. So the proportion of males. So this is 229 males.
Mhm.
You want to know the proportion, so you're going to take 229. This is going to equal 229 divided by 410.
I see.
And so the proportion of males is 0.5585. And then if you want the proportion of female, you take, this is going to be 181 females
Divided by 410.
divided by 410. And that's going to give you 0.4415.
Mhm.
That's my proportion. So this sample tends to be male.
The next one says compute the proportion of respondents who plan to make a real estate purchase in the next 2 years.
The number of respondents who plan to make, I guess that would be this column. Yes, I don't know if it's 2 years from now, but we'll assume, right?
Right.
So that means you would look for yes. So here, you're gonna look for the yeses in this column. So I would do, and there's now here you have to be a little bit careful because you don't want them to count these yeses over here. So we have to use, I think we have to use, give me a second. Count the number of cells in a range with a given input. Let's see. How to count the number of cells if it's count specific character, count cells and ranges. How to count cells if you're doing, let me see something really quick. See if this is what I want. So let me see. I think the easiest way here would be to do the count function, but I'm not sure which count function we need, so we're about to find out.
Okay.
Cell. So count counts the number of cells that have numbers inside of them.
No, we
In this
don't
case,
want
it's 11. If I look at the quantity column, I have 11 cells with numbers. Now count A counts cells with numbers or text. So I should see 12 in this case because I'm counting unknown as well. Count blank, you can probably guess it, counts the number of blank cells in a given range. We should see 2 here.
Mhm.
And count if and count ifs count based on conditions.
Okay,
So with count if, let's say maybe we're going to look at the product column and then find or count the number of times that basketball occurs.
yeah, that's what we want. So we want count if.
4 in this case. So I see 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 there. 4 cells
Okay,
with
so
basketball
we're gonna
inside.
use,
Now count if is a little different. It's not counting the number of cells, but the number of times that multiple conditions are met. And so let's use count ifs. And maybe I want to look for the first condition being where in the product column we see basketball.
so I have to use quotation
And then in the
marks.
quantity column where we see 24. Both of those conditions in the same row have to be met.
Okay,
And so let's try this out. It looks like it's 2. So I see it here, basketball and 24, and I see it here.
yeah, so
So again, it's
we're
not
gonna
counting cells. If
do,
so, it would give us 4 in this case.
so that would mean that we would do, let's stop, let's go back to, okay, let me stop sharing this. Let me go here. And we're gonna go back to Excel and we're gonna say, so we're looking for the number of people. So you said a home purchase, is that what you said?
It says compute the proportion of respondents who plan to make a real estate purchase in the next 2 years.
Real estate purchase, okay, so that is gonna be, okay, that's gonna be this column here. So we're gonna have this column here. And then we wanna, so we're going to, it's gonna be C. And then you wanna count the number of, so we would do something like equals count if, and then you're gonna have from C1 to C411. And then you're gonna have yes in here. So this is gonna be, let's see, you entered too many arguments. It's, too many? Wow, okay. Let's see what I did wrong here. Maybe it thinks that these are superfluous. Let's see. Count if C1, hold on, C1 to C1. Oh, maybe it's this C411 here. Then it's yes. Let's see if I'm right. That doesn't work. Okay. This is equal to count if counts the number of cells in a range that meet the given, yeah, okay. So open it. And then from here, from there to there. Okay. Then that's so weird. I don't know why it's not working. It must be, there must be a different syntax for
Shauna, I'm just gonna guess on those so we can get the right answer.
this is all spreadsheet stuff.
Yeah. And it's not gonna be on my exam, so it doesn't. Okay, I guessed and I got some. We got some of them right. I think we're on the right track.
But you should, if you're doing it on the calculator, just use, when you put it in your calculator, just use stat calc. One
Okay.
bar stat, and it'll give you that. It won't give you the standard error. You'll have to compute the standard error
Okay.
from the standard deviation.
Thank you, Shauna.
Okay, what else we got?
I'm entering the answer, Shauna,
Oh, okay.
so that
Got it.
we can move on.
Oh, it wanted more decimal places.
Maybe
Looks like it.
15, 8, 1, 0, 8, 3. Seven, 80.4. 5.7. 8.
10.
15.
Then 70. Yeah, that one.
74,459.
Mm.
51. 84. 1, 8. 7, 1, 5, 0.6. 54, 72. 30, 50, 21, 48, 7, 8, 29.
We have finished this. No, I didn't. I don't remember seeing the other questions. Okay.
Well, upload your work is gonna want choose a file.
And then it's asking you to do the next part.
What did it give me? Did it give me all my points? We're out of 32. What happened? I hope it didn't delete all my stuff.
No, but there's probably more stuff to put in because it has to grade your essay and whatnot. Because don't you have more in the drop down boxes?
I thought I put it in there.
Okay, so
I
then
submit answer.
upload your work and submit the answer. But what about the other? See how you have more gray and more drop down?
Oh,
Isn't
where?
there more stuff to enter?
Down
Here?
here?
Yeah, all of these. You didn't do like, see all of these parts. You have to put answers in all of these other parts. Didn't you do that?
I thought I did, Shauna. Confidence intervals are good. Descriptive. Oh, I got this one. Four.
And then, okay, then click. Let me see now. All that, all that, all that, all that. Upload your data. Score 1 out of 1. Okay. Now here you have to do this answer. See, this answer has not been graded. So I don't know if you want,
Okay.
if there's, and then down below, there's another box, I think. Is there another box?
No.
I think it's because it's, but it's asking you to answer the questions that they asked you at the beginning part. So I don't know if she, confident, what?
I put couldn't install the data analytics feature.
Oh, in Excel. In Excel, got it.
Maybe that'll do the trick.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go.
Thanks, Shauna.
And what about the next one?
Oops, I skipped one.
You may need, okay.
Uh-oh.
Sales personnel for skillings. A sample of 68 showed a sample mean of 19 and a half. The sample standard deviation was 4.2. Okay, you can do this with the calculator.
Let's do it.
So, we're looking for the confidence interval for the mean,
Mhm.
right? And we have 68 reports with a mean of 19 and a half. So N is 68. X bar is 19 and a half. And the sample standard deviation was, now are you doing T's or are you doing
Both, Shauna.
Z, huh?
Both.
Both?
doing
Okay,
them
well, if you have, now here's the thing about it. Different books handle this different ways, but they gave you S, but you have N as 68. So if N is greater than 30, which it is here, then typically you would use a Z in place of that, but I don't know if they used a Z or a T for this. But you go to your calculator, you go to stats, you go to tests,
Mhm.
you go to one sample, T as in Tom,
Mhm.
interval, and then you're entering statistics, and then you enter what they tell you. So I have
You said to
stats,
go.
tests,
That's test.
and then I'm doing, you go down to the one that says T interval, which is number 8 for me.
Okay.
And then make sure you right arrow to stats. So you can enter the stats. The first thing it asks you is X bar. X bar is the sample mean. So that's 19.5.
Mine says input data stats. Or go to stats.
Yeah,
You said.
so
Okay.
just where it says input, make
Mhm.
sure that you arrow over to stats and hit enter. So, and then it should give you X bar, SX, and N.
Mhm.
So where it says X bar, put in 19.5.
Yeah.
Where it says standard deviation, put in 4.2. And where it says N, put in 68. Now, the thing is, I don't know if they want you to do a T or a Z. So this could be off. This now it says 90, so change your confidence level to 0.90 and calculate that.
I get 18.15, comma 19.85.
Did you use a Z or a T interval?
Z. Oh, T interval.
Oh, you see, I used a T interval and I got 18.65 and
Okay.
20.35.
So let me try again then. Second. I'm sorry. Here. That'd be
But I don't know if they want you to use this. This might be one of those cases where if you watched it to see which interval they used,
mhm.
you might be better off. Because I don't know what their criteria are.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure if they used a Z or a T here, but that's what you're gonna do for
18.662. Is that what you got, Shauna?
no. Let me show you here. This is I'll open it. So
Is there a way to do this by hand, Shauna, or I would have to use that table, huh?
if you do it by hand, it's gonna take a long time. There's a
Okay.
lot of calculations
Okay, Shauna.
involved in this. But I'm trying to find my emulator screen. I have my emulator open. I just need to make sure that my my screen is closed. I have so much open here. I don't even know. Hold on. Let me close a lot of this stuff. Because my not being able to see my because okay, gotcha. That's why. I'm gonna okay, there it is. So my emulator looks like this.
Mhm.
So stats test rather 8 T interval, go to stats, hit enter, and you get this thing here. I want to go to stats, so then this is going to be X bar for us is 19.5.
Is there any way that I would know, Shauna, by reading the question that it would be a T?
Yeah, there's two, but see, different books handle this differently, but in general, yeah, there is. And this is how you know. But like I said, different people teach this differently. That's why I was somewhat dubious, but this is in general how it works. Let me go here. So there's whiteboard share. So there's 2 questions that you ask, okay? First question you ask is, so if I want to decide whether to use z-test or z-interval, because it applies to confidence interval and hypothesis test versus t-test or t-interval, okay? Typically, what you're gonna do, you're gonna ask 2 questions. Question 1 is, do I know sigma? Do I know sigma? That's the population standard deviation, okay? If you answer yes to this question, if yes, then use a z-test or z-interval regardless of the sample size, okay, because you know sigma, okay? If not, if your answer to this question is no, then if no, then ask a second question to figure out which test you use, okay? And the second question is question 2. And again, this is where books will differ based on what they tell you, because it depends on what they consider to be large. Question 2 is the sample size N large enough. That usually means large enough to make the distribution approximately normal. Now, what this is usually this translates to is N greater than or equal. Usually the magic number is 30. Some books use 25. Some books use 50. I don't know what your book is using, but
We're
that's
using 30.
the question. So is the sample size large enough to make the distribution approximately normal? Is N greater than 30? If yes, then some books will say, which in our case, we have 2 yeses, okay? I'm sorry, we have a no and we have a yes, right? So if yes, if your sample size is greater than 30, then you're going to use some books. This is the way Blumen will teach it. If yes, then use a z-test with S in place of sigma because of the CLT. And if not, then use a t-test. Then t-test or t-interval.
This is the limit theorem, Shauna?
The central limit theorem.
Okay, limit theorem.
The central limit theorem. So in our case, we would use a z-test, but that's why I'm saying, I don't know how your book teaches this, but this is generally how Blumen lays this out. This
Thank
is
you,
how
Shauna.
this works.
I got them a little bit, I was a little bit off, Shauna, so maybe I should have used the z-test.
But
Or the interval.
try it and see. I mean, this is worth looking at.
I copied it down.
So I took a screenshot. I'm gonna send it to you.
Okay, Shauna.
I took a screenshot of the whiteboard, but go ahead and share your screen again and we'll.
Okay,
What did you get for your answer?
let me show you how it was off of very minimally. Oh,
Yeah, so they're gonna be close. That's the thing. Generally, they're gonna be close. So,
okay.
So here, if you do the same thing, you do stats, tests, you do z-test, which is 9, I believe. No, it's a z-interval. Z-interval is number 7. So it's the one above it. You're doing statistics. You're gonna use S in place of sigma. So S is 4.2. 4.2. X bar is 19.5 and it's 68. You calculate it for 90. You get, I have 18 point. If I use a Z, I get 18.662. So if I use a T interval, then I get the same thing you got if I use a Z. If I'm using a T interval, then I get let me see, 4.2. I get stats tests.
What do I put in for a mu0, Shauna?
Huh?
There's a mu0 when I go to z-test.
No. Mu is gonna be, no. They give you what the mean is.
I'm going to
It says the mean is
stat,
19.5.
stat, test, z-test, and I see input data. I go stat.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I'm on stats, and then it says there's a mu 0 equals 1,000. Leave that alone.
No, okay. So,
It looks like this.
no, I'll bring it up right now. Hold on. So you can see. What you're using is the data from the problem.
Mhm.
Right. So if I go to stats and I go to test
Mhm.
and I go to number 7, Z interval, right? Because I'm creating a confidence interval. I'm not doing a hypothesis test. It defaults. There's always a default in here, okay? You have to change it to whatever this first number here that I have highlighted. Can you see on my
Yeah.
screen?
Yes,
That's sigma. That's your standard deviation. Okay,
I got it.
that's 4.2. Now, in this case, you're using 4.2 because, like I said, your sample size is so big. 4.2, X bar is the sample mean, which is 19.5.
Mhm.
Your N is 68. And your confidence level is 90.
Okay, 18.62.
And that's why I got now, that's if you do the Z, and that's using the Blumen rules, okay? So I got the same thing you did. Now, if I go back and do stats, tests, and I do number 8, which is the t-test, SX is gonna be 4.2. And I have my interval as 90 and I calculate that, that's gonna give me, I
Okay,
don't know what I did
get
there,
it.
stats.
18.65.
Is that what they used?
Yeah, Shauna, that's what they use.
So they used the T. So what they seem to be doing is using T because you know S.
Oh, I see.
So you have to find out between your book and the teacher, you have to find out what the rules are. Because different books have slightly different rules about how they do this.
It's off by very little, and I'm sure on the test it won't be that big. I mean, the difference.
Yeah, but it will be a big deal because that's what they test for, whether you know when to use it or not, because that's a big deal.
Okay, Shauna.
Usually it's not, they're not testing for they will always be close. That's not the issue. Knowing when to use the test is the issue. That's the whole issue. That's why even if it's a little off, a lot of times they'll take off for the problem because and if it's multiple choice, chances are it will have both.
Oh, I see.
That's why you have to find out what the rules are for, because like I said, I gave you the way Blumen is teaching it, but I don't know the way the book. You might go into the video for that question and
Okay.
see what your video professor says, or see what your textbook says about that. Because different books teach this, like I said, they teach it different.
Thank you, Shauna.
But Blumen teaches it that even if you, in our case, because N is large, it's larger than 30, you would still use the Z because the distribution is going to be approximately normal. But apparently your textbook is following the convention, or at least, I don't know the textbook, but the program is following the convention that if you know S, you don't know sigma, but you do know S, then you're using T. So that particular notion is ambiguous, but because that's what they're testing for, and they will be slightly different because that's what they're testing for, they probably will mark it wrong.
Okay,
So
Shauna.
I would ask somebody or ask your textbook, like query your textbook to find out.
I will, Shauna.
Sorry to be a pain,
No, not at all, Shauna. I appreciate the help.
but I don't want to like have you lose points that you could have gotten. You know what I
Thank you,
mean?
Shauna. Yes, I appreciate that.
All right. So what else we got? We doing another one?
Do you have time for a couple
Yeah.
more?
Yeah, I do.
Thank you, Shauna.
I do. Not a big deal.
I think these other ones are gonna look more like what's gonna be on the exam.
Oh, okay. So let's see. What are we doing? Assuming constructed. Okay. So here, same story, except this time they gave you data. Okay. So you're
Mhm.
gonna put the data in a list, a single list in your calculator. Okay.
Yeah.
Not 4 separate columns, but just one column of numbers.
Okay, I did that, Shauna. I got my X4.
Okay,
I got
now
my
actually you don't need that. It'll compute it for you. But if you have it, that's fine too. So it says the data shown below for a sample of 20. So we have 20, N is 20, right? Are consistent with savings reported. Assuming the population is roughly symmetric, construct a 95% confidence interval for the mean savings in a televisit as opposed to an office visit. So round your answers to the nearest cent. So we're gonna do stats, tests, and this is gonna be a sample. So we're gonna, this one follows the Blumen rules because this one will say that your N is smaller than 30, it's only 20. So you'd use a T interval here, I would imagine. And then you're gonna do the T interval, but use data this time and specify the list that you put your data in.
Okay.
And make sure it's 95, not 90.
Mm-hmm. I get 68.539.
Okay, so 68.54 would round it, right?
4.
And then the other one is,
89.46.
yeah, because we want it to the nearest cent. So we want 2 decimal places. And then we're gonna submit our answer. See what happens.
All right, Shauna.
Okay, so
Thank you for
that's
that.
a T by the Blumen because again, we don't have sigma, right? We have S. We don't know what the population standard deviation is, and our sample size is 20. So this would be a T all the way. This is non-ambiguous.
We don't know. Can you repeat that again, Shauna?
Sure. Remember, we have 2 standard deviations. Remember that? So we have 2 of them.
Mhm.
And you have to distinguish them. So when I talk about, let me go over here. Where's my annotation tools? Okay. When I talk about standard deviations, okay, there are 2 of them.
The sample and the population.
Right. So standard deviation sigma, which is the one that looks like an O with a line on its head.
Yes, Shauna.
Sigma is the population. standard deviation.
Mhm.
Okay. And I was saying that for this question, we don't know sigma at all. Why? Because the data they gave me is from a sample. It says that, right? It says the data shown below for a sample of 20 online doctor visits. So we don't know in this problem, we don't know sigma at all. In this problem, sigma is unknown, but S, which is the sample standard deviation, can be derived from the data. Right? That's why we give the calculator the data and it does the crunch for me. So I do know S. I do know S, even if it's not shown here. And so because in this case, I would ask, is sigma known? And I would answer to that, is sigma known? And I would say, no. Is n greater than or equal to 30? And once again, I answer, no, it's not. It's only 20. So I have two no's, so I'm using a t-test. A t-interval rather, I'm sorry, a t-interval for this question. And I'm using it with data.
Thank you, Shauna.
Does that help a bit more?
Yes.
So that's how that works.
Thank you, Shauna.
You're welcome. Now let's go to the next question. All right, so here we have, let me clear the drawings. So it says the US Energy Information Administration reported that the average price is $2.94 a gallon. We haven't seen that for a minute. The US updates its estimate of average gas prices on a weekly basis. Assume the standard deviation is 25 cents for the price of regular gasoline and recommend the appropriate sample size to use if they wish to report each of the following margins of error at 95% call. Okay, this is a sample size calculation.
Mhm.
And this is for a mean. So this is in your book as a formula. Let me do something here and pull up the, okay, so if you look, it's gonna be, now what we're gonna need is our z-scores, okay, which we'll get to in a second, but your error is gonna equal your z times your sigma, okay, over E. So it's Z sigma over E. Hold on. That's why, give me a second. Let me just find it. It's gonna be easier for me to show you from the book. So let's see, desktop.
Is this the Z-score for a sample distribution, Shauna?
What was that?
Is this the Z-score for a sample distribution?
It's not a z-score, it's a sample size calculation. It should be in chapter 7.
Okay.
Is
this a confidence interval then for the mean?
Well, you're okay. So I'll show you what it's gonna be. Let me share the screen here so I can show you what it is. Oh, okay, wait a second. It's gonna be, I'm trying to, give me a minute, view options, stop screen sharing. Okay, so if you look here, when you do confidence intervals, in order to be confident, the greater your sample size is, in general, the more confident you are. So this is gonna be, okay, I just want it from this chapter, so I'm just gonna scroll because I'll get there faster. This is your formula, okay? This thing, let me, not this, what is it that I wanna do? Okay, what I wanna do is, I wanna enlarge the screen. There we go. So, okay, how is that? Can you see, or do I need to?
Can you make it a
How
little
about
bit
that?
bigger?
Is that
That's
better,
better.
or you
That's
need
better,
it bigger than
No,
this?
that's great. Thank you.
That's good? Okay. So if you look, whoops, if you look at this part, you're gonna see that you have, if you scroll through the chapter, it's gonna be, you're gonna have toward the end of the chapter. So here's your whole confidence interval, right? This thing that is your Z alpha 2 times sigma over the square root of n, this part,
Yes.
that's called your margin of error, okay? So, but when you have your margin of error already and you want to find the sample size, that's further down in the chapter. So if you look, and what they do is, it's kind of hidden. It's right here. It's on this page, formula for the minimum sample size needed. That's what you want to use. Z times sigma over E, all of that squared. Okay. So, so basically it's going to depend, to get your Z, that's where you have to use your inverse norm function if they don't give you the Z score.
Okay, Shauna.
But that's what you're going to use for that. Okay. So if you go back to your, go ahead and go back to your screen, and then we'll see what we have here. So in this case, what we have is, we have this. We have, for this amount of information, we're gonna do, okay. So what they tell us is that we have the average price for a regular gallon of gas is $2.94. So, and it says assume that the standard deviation is 0.25. So our standard deviation is 25 cents. That's our sigma. Okay, this is our sigma. And it says that the desired margin of error, the desired error is 0.10. Okay. So,
My X bar is gonna be 2.94.
right, so here you're gonna have, now keep in mind, we're not calculating the confidence interval, we're calculating the sample size.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
my error here is 0.10. Okay, that's my E. And it says that my N I don't have. Then see, I'm looking for N. So N I don't have. And it says, if they wish to report each of the following at 95% confidence. So your confidence level is 0.95. Okay, and that's important because that's going to tell you what your Z is, because we don't have the Z.
Mhm.
Okay, but this is very common. Now, if you want to find Z, okay, if you want to find Z, then remember that when you do this, you're going to say that you have this here, and that your Z is, I mean, your confidence level is 0.95, but you need to know what your alpha is, okay? So your confidence level is always 1 minus alpha, right? But we need to know alpha. So turns out that alpha is 1 minus the confidence level, all if you manipulate the equation. So in this case, what does that mean? That means that if I wanted to calculate Z by hand, because you didn't remember what Z corresponds to a 95% confidence level, then you would say Z, which we need, is equal to the inverse norm of the area to the left. Now, if this is 95 in here, in this middle portion, then each of these are 2.5. So this would be inverse norm of 0.975. And you should come out with 1.96 as your Z. So every time you're doing a confidence level for a mean, Z is equal to 1.96. That's because this piece in here is 95. This is 95%. This is 95. And then these are 2.5% each. Okay, because they have to, so the area to the left of me, because I'm looking at this line.
That'd be 0.25.
Well, this is 0.25, and everything to the left of me is everything else, which is 0.975, right?
Mhm.
1 minus 2.5% would be 97.5%. So in this, huh?
1 minus 0.25, Shauna, is that what you said?
No, almost. So if this is 95 in the middle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then I have 5% to carry on either side, correct?
Right.
So if I take 5 and divide it by 2, I get 2.5%. But remember that 2.5%
Was 0.2.
is equal to 0.025. Be careful there, okay?
Okay, Shauna.
And then 95, so then what I said is that the area to the left is 0.025 plus 0.95, which is 0.975. And that's where I got this from. Inverse norm of 0.975, which you should get as 1.96, right? Now, when you do your calculation here, n is going to equal your z, which is 1.96 times your standard deviation, which is 0.25. And you're going to divide that whole fraction by e. So you're going to divide this whole thing this by your error term, which is in this case, the margin is 0.10. And you're going to then put parenthesis around the top and the bottom, right? So it's this whole fraction essentially. So it's this. I couldn't type like that, but it's this whole thing in a big parenthesis, like this, squared.
Thank you, Shauna.
And that might come out to be a decimal. You're going to round it to a whole number because it's a sample size. So you're going to round up. And you're going to repeat that. The only thing that's going to be different in the subsequent parts is the denominator. They don't change the interval on you. They just change the error. So if I take 1.96 and I multiply it by 0.25,
I get 4.9.
and then did you square it already?
Oh, no, I didn't square it.
That's a common error. You have to make sure you square that. So you divide that by 0.10. And then you have, I get 4.9. If I square it, I get, so what I'm getting here is, now it says round to the nearest whole number up to the nearest whole. So this is 24. In my class, we would round this to 25 because see, this is This is 24 and a little bit. So 24 is not sufficient. You need 20, you need a little more than 24. So I would say 25 would be this answer. 25. This would go to 25.
Let me try the next one then.
The only thing that's gonna change in B is the bottom.
Okay, it's the top, the numerator is going to be 1.96 times 0.25 over 0.10 equals,
Not 0.10,
oops,
because you're doing 0.06 for the second one.
0.06. Thank you, Shauna. Times 0.25.
No, it's, believe me, been there, done that.
Okay,
Done all of those things that you are now doing, so I feel
thank you, Shauna.
I feel for you. I'm getting a number. What are you getting?
I'm getting 7.9167.
Did you square it?
Not yet.
Okay.
And I'm going to square that.
I'm getting
67.
66.69. Am I wrong?
I'm getting 62.67.
Okay, so you have 1.96 times
I made a mistake, Shauna. Let me correct that.
0.25.
I get 0.49
That's better. Uh-huh.
divided by 0.06. 8.1666.
Okay, now square that number.
It's 66.69.
So if you round up, then this would be 67,
Thank you, Shauna.
right?
Yeah.
How about the next one down here, part C?
C would be numerator would be 1.96 times 0.25 over 0.05.
Okay. And what do you get when you do that?
.25 divided by 0.0.
This
9.8, and then square that. I get 96.04.
Okay, now remember we have to round up. So this is gonna be
97.
97.
Okay.
So 25, 67, and 97.
Shauna, can I put parentheses around the whole thing and square the?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, you should. Do you need me to show you?
No, I think I got it.
Okay.
I won't forget. Okay, let me check my answer. Thank you, Shauna.
You're welcome.
I have one last one.
Yeah, that's fine. No problem. Clear all the drawings.
Says, according to statistical reports on news source, a surprising number of motor vehicles are not covered by insurance. Sample results consistent. The news report showed 104 of 400 vehicles were not covered by insurance. What is the point estimate of the proportion of vehicles not covered by insurance?
Okay. So now, remember, we talked briefly about this a couple of times. We haven't actually done it because we haven't had this homework yet. But there's a difference between a point estimate versus an interval estimate, right?
Okay.
Is this ringing a bell anywhere?
Not yet, Shauna.
Not yet. Okay. Well, if you said
Okay.
if you said, for example, okay, you think you remember?
I think we're talking about a specific point instead of a point that's in between two other.
That's, yeah, okay. So a point estimate is a single number, right? So the best point estimate, and in this case, we're talking about a proportion, you see? Because right here, we're talking about, and this makes a difference. So the point estimate for the proportion versus the point estimate for the mean, okay? So we're not doing a mean right now. We're doing a proportion. We're doing a point estimate for the proportion. So the best point estimate for a proportion, okay, the best point estimate for a proportion is going to be the sample proportion. So the best point estimate for a population proportion is a sample proportion. Okay, so the first part of this is you're going to find out what the sample proportion is. Okay, now they don't give you the sample proportion, but they give you the numbers that you need. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna calculate this. And the way you calculate this is, I'm sure you've seen this formula, P hat for your sample proportion is gonna equal X over N. Okay, that's all we're gonna do for part A.
Right.
Is just calculate that. So it says 104 of 400 vehicles. So we're gonna say 104 and 400 vehicles. So 104 divided by 400.
I get 0.26.
And that is, let me see, 104, whoops, divided by 400. I get that as well. So that's going to be 0.26, okay?
Okay.
Now, the next thing says, develop a 95% confidence interval for the population proportion. Now, the only thing here is that I'm not going to have you calculate this by hand, but I don't think your calculator will take it to 4 places. They usually take it to 3, so we'll see. But you're going to go to stats. You're going to go to tests. And then you're going to look for something that says one prop, P-R-O-P, one prop, Z as in zebra, interval, one prop, Z interval. For me, it's letter A.
One prop, Z interval.
Z as in zebra, interval, right?
Okay.
And for me, it's letter A. And then it's going to ask you for X. X is going to be 104. So you're going to put 104. Then you're going to put 400 for N. And you're going to put your confidence level, which they want 95. So you're going to put in confidence level and put in 0.95 and calculate that.
It's asking me for a standard deviation, Shauna.
It shouldn't if you're doing the correct one.
Okay, I must have put the wrong one.
1 prop Z.
One prop Z.
1 prop Z. I'm getting,
Okay. I see you, Shauna.
I'll put it on the screen.
X is 104, N is 400, and my confidence level is 0.95.
I'm getting
Uh,
0.4524 to
I'm getting
0.63
Shauna.
6385.
I'm getting 0.21701.
What confidence level did you use?
95%.
It should be, yeah, okay. Hold on, let me,
No.
okay, write this down in case, because it's gonna go, let me screenshot this. And let me, because when I bring up the calculator,
Mm-hmm.
the screen disappears. So let me bring up the book. I'm not the book, the emulator again. So let me share screen here. Okay, let me see.
030. Yeah, they were right, Shauna.
But let me show you what
Thank you, Shauna.
what it is. So you, because I don't know what your mistake was, but if you watch me, then you'll see it. Okay, so here, let me clear this out. So you have stats,
Mm-hmm.
you have tests, you go to the one that says 1 prop Z int. Right, 1 prop Z int. You hit enter. Your X here is what is it, 104?
104, Shauna.
And then, whoops, not there. Sorry.
Okay.
Here, 104. Down here is 400, where N is.
Mm-hmm.
Your confidence level was 90.
95?
Yeah, you know what? I think is that right? 110.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a second. Why is it? Give me a second. Stat
Okay.
test, because my calculator is telling me it's 110, and I was using 60 and 100. I don't know why I was using 60 and 110, but this is 104 and 400. Oh, maybe because they reduced it. That could be why.
Okay.
Because if you reduce that by 4, you get, let's see, 95 calculate. I'm getting a different number. I'm getting two. I'm getting it. I don't know how I was using something else,
Okay.
but this is the way it should look right here.
Nice. That's what we got.
Okay, so that's, yeah, but ignore the recording where I wrote something different.
It's okay,
Because
Shauna.
I put in some other, I don't know where I got the other numbers from, but this is what your interval should look like.
Thank you, Shauna.
2170 and 3030, right?
Mm-hmm.
All righty.
Thank you, Shauna. You were great.
Anything
Appreciate it.
else? Sorry
the
if
last
that
one.
was a bit demoralizing,
Not at all, Shauna. I appreciate all the help.
but yeah, this is gonna be, did you change your
Mm-hmm.
submission score? Okay, let's make sure you got your points. You did.
Yeah.
All right, so the only thing that I would say to you is, like I said, do a little research and figure out about the Z and the T. Let me, before you can, but let me just, before because I'm gonna talk to Irma soon, but I want to, before I do that, I want to send you the screenshots from the meeting today.
Thank you, Shauna.
I know could the video is gonna take a while,
Okay.
but I took the screenshot, so
I was taking good notes on my secondary device as well.
22. No, I know you're really good about it, but
you.
I want you to be able to use those in case you're gonna go, especially the oh, and I'll point this out again right now as soon as I bring it up. Let me see here. Let's see. 320. Okay, yeah, there are 3 of them. So this one, this one, this one. Okay. 130. Let me just load these up. It takes a minute because there's 3 of them. I just want to make sure, because this is always, it's always a discussion point for students. And it is, again, when you do hypothesis testing. Right now you're doing confidence intervals. So I haven't seen any hypothesis testing homework. But if you look at, I believe it's going to be screenshot 130, I believe. Send this. And I'm gonna open my files. If you look, I believe it's the first screenshot I took, which is probably the last screenshot that you got, which is this one here. Okay.
Thank you.
Screen, I think it's 130. It's the one that's labeled 130 because the other ones are the ones that I labeled on your screen. Okay. So you ask yourself 2 questions. Do I know the population standard deviation? If yes, now this might be a difference in your book. That's why I need you to look this up. Okay. Because the rule in Blumen says, if you know the sigma, then you use a z-test, regardless of the sample size. Okay, but they may be doing something else. So if you don't know sigma, the other thing to look up is this number here to make sure that your book is using 30. Because like I said, some books use 25, some books use 50. So
we've been using
look it up to see which one your book uses. And then here, if you answer this and you say that n is greater than 30, but you don't know sigma, our book would say that Blumen would say this, but your book seems to be saying use a T for this. Okay, so you have to find out about those couple of things. Okay, but this is the way Blumen works. So basically, you use a T if you get 2 no's. That's what Blumen says. Basically, if the answer to both of those questions is no, then you use a t-test. If you get a no and a yes, then you use a Z as in zebra.
If I get at least one Z, it's a, I mean, one yes, it's a Z test. If I get both no's, it's a T test.
That's how Blumen works, right?
Okay, Shauna.
But the first question that we did was a yes in Blumen, but it was a no for your book. So I don't know exactly what so it's this one that is the big, you need to look into, and I'm sure it's written in your book.
Okay,
They
Shauna.
never just leave it off. It's just you have to go and look at it to see what it says. Okay.
Thank you, my friend. You were great today.
And if you don't understand what it says, call me. Call me and be like, screenshot the textbook page and be like, what am I reading? Because it's like I said, they're going to be very close. And so they're testing specifically for that. So if you don't get it right, don't mark it wrong.